Okay, and now, after a bit of a hiatus, we are back for episode 22.
23?
3. That's what I said, 23.
That's what I thought you said.
It's like Star Wars. People stop paying attention.
Of that podcast you're listening to right now, Eat, Drink, and Be Scary, where we eat stuff and we drink stuff. And then we talk about kind of paranormal stuff with our experts and me.
And me.
Sorry. Okay, so everybody introduce yourself again.
I'm Ryan.
Ryan, tell me what you're an expert. Why are you an expert?
I have no idea. I've been in the field for about 15 years. Been in the field for about 15 years. I've done a lot of research. I'm compulsive about my research. I just like to approach everything in a scientific fashion. I wouldn't say I'm an expert because there's really no experts in this field, but I know. Yeah, I just know enough to get me in trouble. So, Tom?
You just gave a spoiler away in his name.
Yeah, I'm an expert.
That was his one contribution.
Yeah. All right, Tom.
I've been introduced.
What's your background?
Not the Asian.
This nice black couch or brown couch you'll be sitting.
Up, come on.
I don't know.
I watched The Shining once.
More than once. No, I don't know. I'm just passionate about finding out the truth about things, and I've been doing that mostly. I appreciate Ryan's scientific nature, so that's kind of how I approach things as well. That's why we get along so well.
We've been doing the paranormal thing for a long time. God, how long have I known you?
A while.
Man, it's too long.
It's a minute, as the kids say.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a bromance going on. All right, and then who else do we have here?
I'm just Tanya, the producer.
Just
Just Tanya.
We're just the experts.
Yeah.
And I'm Bill, and I'm the skeptic. Well, I think Tanya's a bit of one, too.
Yeah, I am.
I didn't say that I wasn't one.
Well, I mean, I think you're smart about your reasoning.
We're ghost proponents.
You don't, wake up and then go, everything's a ghost. My alarm didn't go off, must be a ghost.
True.
So, but yeah, you're a smart guy. I followed you on some ghost hunts. All right, so today we're going to talk about a couple different things. The very first thing I want to talk about, there's a website called Reddit. And I've been on Reddit for a long, long time. And my first paranormal thing with Reddit would have been paranormal subreddit on Reddit. And it's mostly just people telling ghost stories and things like that. And I was kind of a fan of it for two different reasons. Is somebody would wake up and they go, or they'd write, they say, I woke up and my dead uncle was standing in my living room and he told me not to drive my car today. So I took the bus and I didn't die. And people are like, oh, wow, your uncle's a really cool ghost. And then people are like, you're probably dreaming, you dumbass, and you took the bus for no reason. So there was a really good, solid base of people going, well, that probably wasn't a ghost, combined with the loons that thought everything was a ghost. And I really had fun with that. And I actually met some people on there and had discussions and found some real normal people.
Do you have evidence that they were real people?
But I don't. Ghosts could be on Reddit. And then I found the Bigfoot one. And I have to say, this would be fun because it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be people going, hey, look, there's a picture of I just took a picture of Bigfoot in my backyard. And then you think that there would be a bunch of people going, no, man, that's like a bird.
A bird?
Well, that's some of the stuff on there.
What bird are we talking about?
Well, it's just like they see, they thought it was like a head in the bushes and there'd be like a bird. Or people would say, I took this video of a Bigfoot the other day, and then just be a picture that was blurry. And I go, well, I can't wait to read these comments. And all the comments are like, great picture of a Bigfoot, man. Hey, good job. You just found Bigfoot. Hey, that's a great Bigfoot. Sure do like your picture of Bigfoot. Hey, that looks like the Bigfoot I saw. That's it. That's everybody in the Reddit. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So because I like to poke the bear, or Bigfoot, however you want to say it.
Like to poke the Bigfoot.
I like to poke the Bigfoot.
I want a t-shirt
no homo.
that says that.
Me too.
Great. Now we're going to have that shirt. I like to poke the Bigfoot. I would go in there and I'd say, listen, my friends, that's not a Bigfoot. Or, by the way, there was one video that somebody posted, and I knew that it was it was fake. Like, it's been proven to be fake. And when I called it out, I said, hey, everybody, this is a fake video, and I gave the proof. I got downvoted to where my my comment disappeared, like it was gone. So people couldn't see it
explain Reddit to me. What does he mean by downvoted?
People, you could if I say, hey, I like turtles, and like 500 people think I like turtles too, and they can all just like click it.
So it's like the unlike button.
There's an unlike, it'll get voted down. So if it's designed for this. If like I post a picture of my daughter, a video of my daughter playing the flute at a concert, and I go, look at how sweet she is, and somebody goes, oh, she looks like a skank, and everybody are like, oh man, that's mean. They vote it down.
Okay,
and you could do that with links, and you could do it with comments. It's called, and you get karma out of it, which means absolutely nothing whatsoever. But apparently, other than the fact that you just say, look how much karma I got.
It's a lot of self-importance. I mean, most internet
it does.
sites.
It's just instant gratification and feeling good on the internet because people like your stuff.
Passing judgment.
I would get, every time I call down, every time I go on there and I say, oh no, this isn't real, I get downvoted.
Even if you provided like a scientific explanation?
Every time. So constantly then my stuff disappears. And then now I don't want to do it anymore because my karma goes down. And I don't want my karma to go down because I'm going to be buried with it. I don't know.
Your invisible karma.
It is my invisible karma.
Means nothing.
So like I posted.
There's a movie there.
They should have a karma site for checking your karma, like Credit Karma.
But like right now, I'm on the Bigfoot Reddit right now.
That's funny.
Is it reddit.com/r/Bigfoot?
Reddit.com //wedu/.uk. That's the one. It's just, the subreddit for Bigfoot. It's just one word Bigfoot
Site.
And it's really interesting. It says right now that there are 45,000 subscribers. There's 79 online right now. And this is the kind of stuff that we see on there. It'll say, it says Sasquatch, Ontario's cottage owner's confession confirmed. 4 types of Bigfoot in North America. And then I go and click on the links, and it says, this is what the links say, the comments. There's actually 5 types, and the 5th one is you. Ha ha ha! Well, actually, that's funny. That actually made me laugh. Let's see.
Look at this on the Reddit. It says, about an hour ago, someone posted, tonight we're recording a podcast about Bigfoot. Can you answer these 3 questions? Do you believe? Have you seen one? And where did you see it? And bonus question, what do you say to someone when they tell you Bigfoot isn't real?
Well, fuck, those better be multiple choice.
Well, that was me. I posted that.
Like I said.
People are giving answers.
Really?
Here's one that says jumping Sasquatch. We'll talk about mine in a second. I want to talk about some of this. This is 77 comments. Jumping Sasquatch caught on video. Now we're going to go to the video. Then we're going to go to the comments. I'm not going to watch the video.
Richard Simmons.
It was in Russia.
Pointer Sisters. Right.
Like a pony.
Let's see.
Wait, you said there's a video?
Yeah, it says this video is 7 years old and it's in Russia.
Earlier you were talking about how if this were real and, people would be putting up different, here's my ghost pictures of Bigfoot. But when I looked up this Reddit Bigfoot, or on Twitter even, there's like Bigfoot photos and videos every other day, maybe 2 a day.
Oh, there's tons, but
how are people faking this much crap? I mean,
well, a lot of it gets recycled.
Well, not if it makes them money, right?
I don't know, I guess.
Seriously, if someone came up to you right now and said,
wear this suit for $100?
Well, right. I was going to go the other way with it. I killed a Bigfoot. Here's $10,000 for the body.
Make some sausage.
Well, so here's one. Somebody has here's a discussion. Somebody asked a question, and it says, why has no one nailed a Sasquatch?
Nailed it? Like had sex with it?
Hold on, I'm done. Let me finish.
Okay.
With their car. And it says, title says it all. I'm a believer, but seriously, there are some dash cam videos of supposed Bigfoots just crossing a road, but nobody has hit one of these MFers.
Oh, I would run it over too.
So, you know what the first one says? This is the first guy, and he says, this is the top vote. Well, if they're smart enough to avoid virtually all 20th century cameras and smart enough to police up and dispose of all their dead relatives without leaving trace, then they are smart enough to figure out how to cross a road.
Yeah, but
I'm convinced now.
That's not true, though, if we're still catching them on dash cams.
Somebody says, I've heard a couple accounts of them getting hit, but they shake it off and bolt into the woods. Of course, people would never believe that they hit a Bigfoot, so they just think it's a bear or a deer.
Yeah, my tercel is totaled, man.
That's another thing that bothers me. A bear and a deer look nothing alike. So if they're going to be like, oh, it's a Sasquatch, it could be a bear or a deer.
Could have been a chipmunk, really.
Right.
This is a very small Bigfoot.
Yeah, it was right on my windshield, man.
That's like, okay, so this is, I had a math book in high school that was talking about the relationship between two things. And he said, if you look outside and you see a bird, you know that it's not a rhinoceros. And I'm thinking, well, no shit. That's the same, damn it. That's the same thing, right? You know the difference between a bear and a deer. Why would you relate those two things together?
This is the internet. Don't just automatically assume that people understand the difference.
They assume brown colored fur. That is the only thing that could, like, brown colored fur thing that could be spotted in the woods.
Here's my question. Do solid urban dwellers believe in Bigfoot? Does this even come up in daily conversation or monthly conversation at all? If you live in like a concrete jungle, I mean, and you're never going to say upstate New York or whatever, then do you ever think about Bigfoot? Does Bigfoot exist outside of that bubble of we live in the wilderness? I'm every time.
I know, you got to talk into the mic.
I'm gonna make out with a microphone.
So, I don't know. If you play on this thing, Reddit, and it's so frustrating. There's a discussion on here right now. What if Bigfoot exists? And it says, what is going to change your life in science and culture in the world and the universe and so on? Will it just be another mythological creature that we have found to be true, such as platypus or the Komodo dragon? I don't even know how that's related.
Those were never mythical.
Yeah, I know.
Those
they
were
weren't,
just
exactly.
creatures.
People will accept it as fact, just as we accept living fossils. Wait.
Living fossils?
Although
What the hell's a living
they were
fossil?
once considered extinct. Yeah, so this is like just saying an apple is a banana. This is really, really dumb.
See, Ryan, exactly. That's my point. It's the internet. Don't expect people to know the difference between the two things: a rhinoceros and a bird.
So people, it's things like if Bigfoot turned out to be more human in appearance, other than great apes, then and a lot more human, tens of millions of Americans would believe that Bigfoot was the work of the devil. Oh my God, this is awesome! And for some of their faith might be shaken. Imagine believing the devil.
Okay.
All right.
So, hey, hold on.
Satanic Bigfoot.
Well, okay, I don't understand that connection whatsoever, other than the fact that I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say the only reason why I could even see that to be feasibly possible is if you relate Bigfoot as in the missing link of evolution, and you think evolution goes against creation, therefore it would be the work of the devil. But then so would King Kong and every other ape. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. I mean, it does, but it's really just in everybody else's interpretation. First of all, there will be these conspiracy theorists that will then tell you that that's not the same Bigfoot that they were talking about. There's other Bigfoots. Well, if there's one Bigfoot, there's 10 types. Yeah, there's 5 types. So I think it'll change. It would just change nothing other than the fact that suddenly we just found a big hairy guy. And first of all, then do you put him on trial for all the murders? All the murders that supposedly he has had?
Who, Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Only if you can prove his connection.
Well, if they say Bigfoot has killed thousands of people and you find a Bigfoot...
But is there only one Bigfoot? I mean, that's like saying...
Was there only one Hitler?
Find me one.
But they happen at different times.
With cause of death, Bigfoot.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Seriously, I want to see that because if 1,000 people have died by the hands of a Bigfoot,
hey, we're pretty sure he killed Dennis Miller. Did you not listen to the podcast, whatever one that was? Or Dennis, what's his name? Martin?
Well, that's a different story. That was our theory.
I thought it was the Zodiac Killer.
Well, I think that's
Bigfoot.
what it was.
Bigfoot and the Zodiac Killer.
Can you imagine that, baby?
Oh man,
I don't know. All right, well, with that, I think we should quickly talk about the food we're eating, which is related to this. Corn dogs
and cheese
and crazy bread. And the reason why is because those people are frickin' corn dogs,
cheesy crazy
breads. And we're also drinking. What do you drink? What is that?
Sailor Jerry's.
Is it just rum? You can speak. We'll kind of hear you.
It's Sailor Jerry's with Coca-Cola.
All right. I don't know how that's related.
I thought it was better
but it's
with
rum and
Pepsi.
Coke.
Yeah, it's better rum than the Captain. What?
It's better with Pepsi.
I like it personally with RC Code.
No sponsors,
Oh,
please. No
seriously?
sponsorship. None whatsoever. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, loons, is we're going to talk about ghost groups. And I know that, so Ryan and Tom are part of a ghost group, but they've also worked with many. Yeah, the dangers of, and one of the articles that I sent to everybody the other day was what happens if you try and sell a home in certain states if it's haunted. And there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different states that have different rules on this thing. And it's actually a little embarrassing. So what are the, say you're selling a home, here's what you need to know. What are the 5 states? There's 5 states. In Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, New Hampshire, and New Jersey. Oh, in South Carolina, a seller may disclose a death of a property. Oh, that's right. 4 states deal with paranormal activity. New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Minnesota. If you have a home and you know it to be haunted and you try and sell it and you don't tell them, they can turn the sale around. Ghosts don't exist. We have no proof that they exist. How could that be a thing?
Because if I bought a 5-bedroom house and I can only use 4 fucking bedrooms.
Get the mattress out.
But how is that?
Yeah.
If you say a house, there's no scientific proof whatsoever. If I went into a courtroom and it said, listen, a ghost made me do it, they say ghosts don't exist. But if you try and sell a house and somebody says, hey, you knew there was a ghost here. Well, no, I didn't. Well, we knew there was. Later on, we found out there was one there. You didn't tell us. We want our money back. Here's your house back.
Well, you don't know their experience. You don't live in New York or Massachusetts or New whatever.
And you say that there's no evidence that ghosts exist. There's also none that doesn't.
Wait, there's no existence. There's no proof that they don't exist?
True. It's like the black swan. No one believed that swans could be black until they found one. Right?
Like all those myths, it's like a platypus.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I know you don't. It's like the fact that they call Tom's penis the Loch Ness Monster. It's not because it's big, it's because no one's ever seen it.
It only makes a showing when it's blurry and you can't take a good picture.
Yeah.
His dick pics are the worst. I know you're being funny when you say
I'm
that.
being
The reality is, but the truth is this, like, I don't understand that that's a thing. And now we're going to go back to who's the person that deemed it haunted. I'm not saying when Zach Baggins walks in and he's like, today we're going to be hearing this. He goes, oh, this ghost has possessed me. That's a load of crap. But who's the one? It's these paranormal groups. And that's the danger of. And I went out with, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, right? But I went out with you guys that one time and you brought that one girl. And after you sat there and you said, yeah, this place isn't haunted, she sat down there for 20 minutes and told some story about a ghost that was in the house.
And that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, right? It's one of those things that's why we didn't disclose any information prior, because when working with mediums or other people who are sensitive, you want to keep all that information separate. That way they can't feed off of a delusion or off of someone else's issues. And brought her along specifically to show that, right? It's one of those things that when you're choosing to work with a paranormal group, now, don't get me wrong, there are some out there that are really great, but there are some that are out there just to try to, how do I say this, seek attention?
Make money, be zealots. I don't know, pick one.
I'm going to try to say it politely. A lot of people, they don't do the research. They don't try to have any scientific background or even approach to what they're doing. And they go out there and they tell these people who are living in this house or whatever they're doing, who are really scared because something's going on, and they just make it worse. So if you're going to be part of a group or you're going to have a group come to your house, really do your research.
If they seem to be very excited to come to you because of your specific problems and they're guaranteeing some kind of answer, it's probably all a bunch of bunk.
Well, I kind of have a little bit of a theory as to why people are not completely forthright in that, and where they kind of go over the top a little bit, is because if someone thinks their house is haunted, they're going to go through person after person telling them no until they finally find someone that tells them that their house is haunted, because they need someone to believe them.
And that's the danger. So I know, Ryan, you're kind of making it, you're giving the warning, like, to the homeowner that are bringing the people in, but you know, that they should do their research and but really they've got to be wary of these frickin' ghost groups that do anything they can. In 2015, I made a ghost documentary, put it on Amazon, and since then, about once every week or so, I get somebody that sends me a video of their homemade show. And every one, I finally stopped watching them. But every one, it was them going to someone's house, and they were like, okay, we know there's ghosts here. We could hear it. We could feel it. There's always that one person that sits there and they go, the ghost just walked through me. Or, these people are frauds. And they're trying to make their own ghost documentary. They're trying to be famous. Or they're trying to get their own TV show. But those ghost groups are dangerous. They're going out and they're convincing people their homes are haunted.
Or worse, right? That's another problem, is half these people don't even know the difference between a ghost and a spirit. So when they're saying, oh, you've got spirits in your house, that's a completely different ballgame. And then, every nail that scratches them or every dark sound or dark thing that they see is like a demon, which is another horrible problem because that's very, very, very rare. And it's one of those things that I feel like they're telling these people these things to scare them, to get them worked up, and then that can cause issues. I mean, just take the mattress out of your fucking living room and you'll be fine.
Well, I mean, like, you just have to have, there's a partiality, right? It's like you want to have somebody impartial come and give you an advice about something. If they're already leaning one way before you ever invite them over, then they're just going to tell you whatever they thought in the first place.
Well, not necessarily, because I know that there have been people that said, I'm having this type of paranormal activity in my home, and then we went out there and explained to them scientifically what's going on, and they accept it. That's called a xenonormal phenomenon, when something appears paranormal but can be scientifically explained, right? But like you said, there are other people, like Utah's talked about in Ghostumentary, about that woman who was 1,000% convinced that she had a haunted bar or something, right?
Yeah, so she had a ghost box that she would talk to, and when I showed her how a ghost box works and how it basically just picks up radio stations, and I showed this to her, her response was, nuh-uh, you're wrong, nuh-uh. And then she just walked away thinking her bar was haunted. And then wanted to sue me if I told her. She told me afterwards, she goes, if you say that my bar's not haunted, I will sue you. Because that was her gig. That was her whole thing. I'm in Virginia City. There's supposed to be a lot of ghosts here. Come on down to my ghosty bar. Which, by the way, they opened up finally. They opened the bar because it was under construction. I don't know if that's their gig anymore, if they say it's haunted.
That being said, if you go to buy a commercial bar or something, real estate, do you still have to disclose something like that? Because it seems like a lot of the haunted places that we've been investigated are like commercial buildings.
Yeah, bars, that kind of thing.
You're right.
Well, I think that's just the lore behind a bar. A lot of stuff can happen there. It's a lot of energy and perspectives and personalities, and it could be a really strong place. So,
well, sure, but so are like diners, and I don't hear about a lot of haunted diners.
Well, there are a handful. I mean, there's several, right? But just like the bar that we talked about today, right? Is it haunted because it's old? No, not necessarily. It's just, that's another thing. When you say expert in the field, anyone who claims to be an expert is ridiculous, because we have only theories for the existence of the paranormal to begin with, backed by folklore and perspective, right? So you can't be like, I'm an expert in this field, even if you have been doing it for 50 years, because you still can't prove if they exist or if they don't.
Right. But I mean, some of those same people are just going to be so far up their own butts. I've met so many people in this field that are just pompous and arrogant and condescending.
I think most people would call a paranormal investigator the same way that they would call a plumber. I'm calling a plumber because I know that my neighbor stopped at my toilet.
You know, there's something full of shit.
I know. And if I call a paranormal investigator, I'm not going to call a plumber because I want to flush my toilet, but I think it might be plugged up, but I don't know. So why don't you come? I think people are calling paranormal investigators because they want it. They think and want. They want to be proven right. So yeah, it's one of those things that they're going to keep shopping around until they find that one person.
Well, let me tell you a story. I was in Kansas City, and we were doing an investigation on this really big mansion that was recently abandoned and recently purchased. And the owner wanted it investigated and cleansed. Well, the owner reached out to myself and my group, and then turned around and ran into someone else who also had a group, so invited them over at the same time. Well, while we were there, our group was doing a lot of scientific stuff. We were checking all the doors and the angles of the door to see why they were opening and that kind of thing. Well, the leader of this other group, who I'm not going to mention the name of, but they were like, we need to do an exorcism on this house, which, first of all, you don't exorcise a house. You banish or cleanse or eradicate. That's a whole different story. But anyway, he's like, I've been doing this for years, and he's got this Bible that he's holding up, and he's being very theatrical. And I just happened to be behind him, and I was watching him. He had printed off a piece of paper that says, how do I exorcise a house? And he had it cut till you couldn't see it over the outside of the Bible. And he was literally just reading off a website that was, I mean, it was just crap, right? And the fact that he was trying to sell it to not only to the homeowner, but to the other people in his group is just ridiculous.
And the homeowner probably bought it, right?
Oh, no. Honestly, the homeowner was like, are you kidding me? Because I had talked to him about everything prior. He was a lot like you. Very
handsome. Tall.
Tall, I'll give you that one.
Pretty good at kickball?
Fairly good.
All right, cool.
Couldn't pronounce Massachusetts.
Massive two shits? I can.
But he was skeptical but wanting to see what would happen because the house had a reputation for being haunted. So when he was watching the whole thing, and he actually was the one that pulled the paper out of the Bible and be like, listen, you guys are full of shit.
Okay, so he had a place and it had a reputation of being haunted. What was your diagnosis upon
My
leaving this
personal
place?
opinion was it was in a really old house, that the foundation wasn't very stable, and the natural creaks and prods and doors opening were due to the fact that the house is over 150 years old. I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything. The group didn't get anything. But that other group, if you would have asked them, it would have been the scariest place they'd ever went to.
And see, that kind of place would have worked on that girl Dawn that owned the bar in Virginia City. Because if I walked in there and all of us would raise our hands in the air and we go, my God, we feel ghosts. There's 50 ghosts in here. She today would be telling the story about the paranormal group that proved to her that 50 ghosts are in there.
Right.
But if I walked in with my group and we said, yeah, this place isn't haunted, she said, you're full of shit. Mm-hmm. And I'll sue you if you say otherwise.
Yeah, he was very unhappy with that other group. But, I mean, that's just the kind of things that happen.
Well, the one time that we both investigated in Illinois, and that bar owner was like very, I don't know, apprehensive.
Don't go upstairs.
Well, she was apprehensive about us looking anywhere, really. So we were really just confined to one area.
Come check out my house, but you're not allowed to go anywhere?
Really, yeah, like only this one level.
And wipe your feet.
Please.
Don't sit on the furniture.
Because the ghosts, they track everything.
But what's interesting about that place is we did catch an interesting EVP.
Right, and we corroborated stories between about 7 of us individually without talking to each other. And then the bar owner's tune completely changed. And it was, hey, come back anytime you'd like. Tell anybody you want. Tell them it's a haunted bar because it's lucrative.
Yeah, you can live upstairs.
So there's totally that aspect of it too. That there are definitely ghost hunting teams, outfits out there that go out and corroborate evidence to say that your place is haunted because it's lucrative for everybody. I mean, how right now the Penn locally does ghost tours all the time, and they're booked and sold out months in advance with a local ghost troupe here, and
they're
very serious about it.
There was a group back home that if they went to one of these local bars and did an investigation and came up with evidence, they would get free food for like 2 weeks. So they'd go there once a month and they would find evidence and they'd all eat there for like 2 weeks for free. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Oh my God, what a great gig.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right? Hey, my beer just tipped itself over. Did you see that?
Oh, here's another one. Here's 6 more. Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Ed and Lorraine, what's her faces, and he would go and paint people's houses, but he'd paint ghosts in the windows.
That's ridiculous.
And then people are like, oh, my house must be haunted. That's just crazy. And going back to the whole, this translates to a lot of stuff because it does go back to Bigfoot, and it goes back to aliens, and it goes back to chupacabra. I mean, it goes to anything. If you believe in it, you're going to believe in it no matter what. And it's like, one of you guys who sent the video about the Arizona, the pooping UFO that was dropping poop on it?
Yeah.
And there's this video, and they're in Arizona, and they're filming what could be, I don't know, it could be somebody lit a candle and, balloon, and it's just burning as it's going, but it's dropping stuff. The first 10th of a second in the video, you hear somebody saying, it's dropping the flu virus. That's what it says. That's
attributed to the ancient alien theory, where they believe that aliens are responsible for the mass epidemics, and that they come down and they essentially drop viruses and plagues in order to kill half the people. And
they'd have to be smarter than giving us the flu.
But if you're believing that, if you already think that's going on, there's no way you're going to think that that's anything but a flying saucer and post it as it is otherwise. I've seen things in the sky that I couldn't identify, that I didn't know what they were, but it's late at night and it's just a light flying a little weird. I'm not going to assume that it's a flying saucer. But the very first thing somebody goes, hey, look at that alien ship up there dropping the flu virus. That says a lot about you.
Well, theoretically, if you look up in the sky and something's flying and you can't identify it, it's a UFO.
That is true.
Doesn't mean that it's an alien, right?
I think they've changed that nomenclature now. Isn't it UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon? I think that's what they're saying now, governmentally. That's how they classify them. That's the thing to me, though. They aren't really that comparable, because the Pope didn't come out and say you can believe in Bigfoot and be Catholic. But he did come out and say you can believe in aliens and be Catholic, and that's not a,
Well, it's because he's a reptilian.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, there's
He's
a lot
not
of
a
different
Bigfoot.
there's a lot of different acknowledgments, I think, to aliens existing. But as to Bigfoot, I asked my 10 and my 12-year-old today on the way home from school. I said, okay, I'm going to have a podcast today, so I just want to gather your guys' thoughts. Bigfoot, real or not, go. My 10-year-old said, yeah, I think it's real. And I said, why? She goes, well, it's real because you hear about it. And I said, okay, well, is it real and we just haven't found any evidence? Or because we haven't found any evidence, it's not real? Which is where my 12-year-old went. There's only 2 years of difference in there. And I think that's really where it comes down to. There's no evidence. I mean, there's no scat that has been proven to be not just a regular animal, or any hair that isn't just a regular animal's hair. There's like casts of big feet, but obviously those can be just made.
You'll always get some weird, obscure news source reporting that they finally found real hair and it got proven the DNA of a blank and it's a Bigfoot. No one else ever picks it up, and then the article disappears. Then a week later, people will say, hey, you notice that story disappeared? That's the government shutting down Bigfoot. Instead of going, hey, some bad journalism happened, that story was a lie. Like, they just want to believe it. And then you're supported by other people. So real quick, I'm on Reddit again, and this is on the paranormal one, which generally has some rationality in it.
There's some life in the paranormal.
And this one says, somebody goes, hey, Siri comes on randomly in the middle of the night. Oh, my Siri just turned on when I did that. Oh, shut up, Siri.
Oh, my God.
It says, I was doing some research for a class. Either my computer or my cell phone started to make weird sounds. It sounded like a fire alarm, but less louder.
Less louder.
After that, I'm closing everything in panic because of my sound, blah, blah, blah. It goes on at 2:45 in the morning. Can't sleep. By the way, the alarm here went
Yeah,
off
our
twice.
motion sensor goes off at around 3:30 in the morning.
Was it less louder?
And this building's, by the way, we are in our new location. We're in the new office. We're in a 100-year-old building.
It was built in 1908.
Yeah. Just so you know,
Yes,
this
we're in
is
the
an
basement.
older building than the apartment, which is 1917. All right. We don't know. People, and we're in the basement, so people could have died here.
I bet they're buried in the floor.
All right. So anyway, this guy tells this long story. He'll say sometimes he or she. I'm assuming it's a guy, but that's wrong. Lunacy knows no gender. And it says sometimes the Siri will say, "Sorry, I did not understand that." And then somebody says, "My Google Home that I got for free is having Spotify membership constantly listens in on me and randomly plays music without my request."
That's
so I turn
just
the mic
your
off.
government. That isn't a ghost.
And then somebody says that, oh yeah, my Echo Dot does the same thing. And it says, happens with my Google stuff too. It randomly listens to me and pulls obscure sentences, I think, blah, blah, blah. But it's...
I mean, you signed that contract.
But everybody, so these people are getting downvoted because they're like, oh, my Echo Dot does it. It's listening to you and it gets downvoted.
We know our devices listen to us. Bill had a phone conversation with someone the other day saying, hey, let's meet up and we'll talk about the website. And then he mysteriously had a meeting event on his calendar that showed up for the exact day and time that they were talking about that he didn't make.
Yeah, this just happened the other day.
They were just talking about it on the phone.
We're like, hey, let's just meet up at 1:30. And then it says, create an event between 1:30 and 2:30. I'm like, get out. It was a phone conversation. And then standing by a friend's computer, a coworker's computer one time, she was selling her Land Cruiser. And I'm like, oh, it's really nice. I think I'm interested in buying it. And then we go, or her Range Rover, sorry. And then we came back. I said at my computer, we both looked at each other and like, now there's on Facebooks, there's Range Rover ads on both our Facebooks. So clearly that kind of stuff is listening. But somebody says,
how is this related to Bigfoot?
What I'm trying to say is,
Mark Zuckerberg.
this is somebody here that this is electronics mess up and screw up. Look at how easy it was just to get my stupid phone to do the Siri thing. Oh, I didn't do it then.
I mean, are they really screwing up, though? Because like I said, you signed that contract when you say, I want this service, and it says we are constantly listening to you. I mean, the freaking FBI and CIA come out all the time and say, look, these smart TVs are listening and watching you 100% of the time.
But I guess what my point is this.
That's why
if you're surrounded
on mine.
If you're not surrounded by a voice of reason, you're in trouble because you're going to be convinced it's the same people that get their news from one source, one crazy source, and they believe.
Well, unless they're listening to our podcast, what reason is there out there, Bill?
Okay, hold on. Okay, here's another issue. People say scientifically Bigfoot's impossible, which is stupid because scientifically he is very possible, especially if we say that we evolved from apes, right? Because, for example, when we talked about Lucy, the Australopithecus, that was basically a small Bigfoot. It doesn't mean that there's not a big Bigfoot walking around out there in the woods somewhere. Theoretically, it's possible, all right? Though what makes it difficult is the fact that we haven't found one. So people say that it's not real. Well,
even evolution-wise, I have a hard time with that because, I mean, if you think things go down an evolutionary chart,
right? So
the things in front of them disappear because they have evolved. They no longer are that thing anymore. And if the evolution is going to be better for the species, that the lesser of the species dies out.
Right. So therefore,
if we're evolved from Bigfoot would have ceased to exist.
Not necessarily. Because there are still monkeys and still apes being born. Therefore, what's the next logical step is a more bipedal, more intelligent monkey, right? It's not saying that monkey has to become a human. It just means that there is still possibility for evolution in the wild because evolution is spurred by the need for evolution.
There were several thousand species close to man that spewed and died. That almost made it, like, beyond, even before Neanderthal, any of that. There was, so just to say that, like, apes, and then apes had to disappear and we turned into that. There's just so many other species. Well, so there could have been, so I believe I've never would have to say that there was scientific proof there was no Bigfoot. I'm sure we just learned of another species of man that they just found it, like in a cave. I have to look it up to see what it is.
So,
but
that's exactly what I'm saying, right?
But they found out it was probably at the same time as Neanderthal. Or maybe a little before, and it probably died off right before, maybe or after.
So what's funny is you talk to your kids about Bigfoot and what they thought. Mm-hmm. Ian, who is 7, said, he's a monkey, right? He's just a monkey. Colden said he guards alien portals. And he goes back and forth between those, and that's why we never find him. And I'm like, well, that makes sense.
It does make sense, actually.
Because we never find him, right? And he goes, there's a lot of UFOs, and it's funny because he's only 9. He's like, there's a lot of UFOs around Bigfoot areas too. And that's true because we've talked about that.
Yeah.
And I go, well, oh shit. The 9-year-old figured out what's going on with Bigfoot.
Maybe he told him.
That's true.
Maybe that's where all the hair and feces goes. He just throws us through the space portal. Well, get rid of that.
And with that...
Did that upset you?
No.
I looked at Bill. He looked so distraught.
No.
I'll never find
Well, you listen.
Feces.
Are you kidding? We're 23 episodes in and we just found out Tom's a creationist. Like, I'm a little thrown off.
I'm no creationist.
So that was a little. It's a little.
I'm just saying that that's how evolution works, man.
Does it?
Yeah.
By creation?
I'm saying you don't get like 2 or 3 stages of things living during the same time period.
I didn't say that, but you also, it's a fallacy to think that just because we are not evolving, that something else isn't. If it lives in the woods and needs to learn how to stand up over 1,000 years, it's going to learn how to stand up.
Well, like hell, we're not evolving. We're evolving as
No, we're
human
not.
species
We are
all the time.
devolving.
Well, yeah, but it's still an evolution.
You need a really good predator to evolve. And unfortunately, the only predator we have is ourselves.
Darwin found 4 different species of finch on the same island, each one surviving in a different area, needing specific way. They've evolved in specific ways that they would eat and
Specialized
survive.
evolution.
But that was just on one island.
So is there a Bigfoot island?
Well, there could be. We don't know. We may have had. There's thousands
That
of
would be
islands
a
out
hell of a
there.
show.
Bigfoot Island?
Yeah.
Like Survivor?
And then they should send another one of those.
goes back to space.
We're dropping 10 naked people on the island with a known Bigfoot.
That's hot. I can see it happening right now. CW is writing that right now.
That could be History Channel stuff, man.
Well, I don't know. I think we talked about enough about this. But I think unless anybody else has anything else to say.
You don't want to beat a dead Bigfoot, but you can't find it, so.
Well, they bury him.
Bigfoot.
They bury him. I think that my point on this is I just want to,
What if they eat them?
Who buries them? The
That's
other
gross.
Bigfoots?
What if the Bigfoots
they eat the bone.
Well, yeah, why not?
Well, that's the other thing. You're talking about, we just discovered a species of people or human or humanoids from 10,000 years ago or whatever, but that's because their bones freaking exist and are still laying there, and we have yet to find anything like that.
So you're telling me that invertebrates don't exist because when they die, we can't find them?
Well, we found their.
I'm just saying,
Hold on, we found their
these
bones.
are laying around, right?
We didn't know we
That
found
they
their
were- they were
bones, and then they
actually
found
Bigfoot bones.
they got this all from like a pinky bone too. Like somebody's picked up a pinky bone and they go, "Well, this isn't Neanderthal. This isn't human. It must be something else."
This
They
is a
do
Bigfoot
research and they go, "It
pinky.
is."
I can tell because it tastes different.
All right.
And we still need to. It's really funny. I was somewhere in like Nevada, or did you hear about the ginger giants? We need to talk about that one time.
Lovelock Giants?
What are you talking
What?
From Lovelock Cave?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, somewhere they said. Well, first of all, there was this Native American woman that told this story that started the whole hype, and they found out later the story was they read into her story and they got certain things out of it. But she said she lived with giants for a little while, and then they said they found these bones in a cave, like in Nevada or Utah or something,
1800s.
for like
8 feet tall
with like
or
these.
something like
Yeah, there was huge people with red hair. They just found the hair and the bones. Are you googling it?
No. I'm texting.
Oh, I thought you were looking it up.
This is a 21st
That's my job.
Tanya, are you looking this up?
Of course, that's my job.
We're looking it up real quick. We'll go out on this, but let's see what you can find it.
Where the Lovelock Cave and Spirit.
So wait.
So,
she lived with giants?
So it says that examiners suggested it was similar to the Kennewick Man, bearing causacoidal
Okay.
features and resembling Inuit and Europeans.
Right. They're supposed to be old bones regardless, but they were supposed to be very tall and have since disappeared.
Disappeared.
Yeah, they went. They sent
Like they
them off.
walked away?
No, like it's the 1800s, and you get somebody locally, professionally to say, "Hey, this is what's going on," but let's gather them and send them off somewhere, and then they just never kind of return.
So there's the Seetica giants, and those are the ones that were in Utah, and they were supposed to be the red-headed giants. I think these often get confused with the others.
Okay, so when they say giant, how tall are they talking? 9 feet?
I think 8 or
How
9
can you see on yours? What's it saying?
Because there's a 7-foot high schooler
Well, there's
I
a
saw
lot
on
of,
YouTube.
There's a lot of Native Americans, I think, from that area that talk about white-skinned, red-haired giants. When the Europeans came in, I think that's what they
Oh,
called
10 feet. They're 10 feet tall.
10 feet tall.
That's fairly tall, I guess.
Yeah, they're 10 feet tall. We actually could do a little bit of research on those, but apparently they found they did find the cave where they were at, the Lovelock Cave.
Well, they found a cave. Doesn't mean
With
it's
some
what-
stuff in it. I mean, apparently they found like bones or I don't know. You can actually drive to it when you go to. I've been to Lovelock.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
are you going to find the bones when you drive there? Or is
Well,
it
I'm
just
sure the bones
a
are
cave?
gone.
Well, it says they terrorize their neighbors with cannibalism.
We're cannibals. Go, shut up. We're trying to sleep, neighbor. That's what they were doing. I'm gonna eat you. Oh no!
Can you imagine if you were 10 feet tall? You'd probably be hungry all the time. Like, how big is your stomach at that point?
I don't know.
Okay, so they never found the bones. They only found the caves.
So it's just a story.
So this is how they say that they were defeated.
Ooh.
So now there's a
vegetarian.
I don't know how to pronounce this. Paiute something. Indians. They eventually defeated the Sidica giants by trapping them inside their cave and smoking them to death.
That's why they're all in there.
And you'll read how the recovered artifacts include human bones split open for their marrow and bearing the marks of stone knives.
To go with our smoked giants.
Yeah, they taste like smoked ginger.
Okay, so but there was a video of the Nephilim tomb of giant mummies in Nevada.
The Nephilim is a completely different story.
Okay, so I almost said it right, but they're giants. They're found.
They might be giants.
Oh,
That's a good band.
That is a good band. So where does Yao Ming fit into this?
Yao Ming.
He's still alive.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but they
Wasn't Robert Wadlow only like 10 feet tall? Like 9 feet something.
they said that they found a giant mummy in like 1890. Do you know the story about the
mummy?
Let's hear it. Tell the story real
I
quick.
don't know. I'm asking.
I thought you nodded your head when I said you know the
I
story.
wanted you to talk.
He's corroborating.
All right, I think we're gonna. This is gonna be for another day because there's a lot to. So the Lovelock skull they did find in 1911 several mummified remains of mysterious red-headed humans.
How can you tell it's redheaded by a
I think some
skull?
of them still had hair.
Some of them still had hair. They had hair.
And the skulls are overly large.
So they said that was
Like Barry Bonds?
over 8 feet, 6.5 feet to over.
Orange and a toothpick.
I would have been like, I'm 6'4". I would have been 2 inches too short to be in there.
Oh,
That's what she said.
you could have got the giant hinge.
Oh, I see. That was a joke about penis size. So the scientists proved oddly reluctant to investigate these remains, and eventually most of the bones were simply discarded by the miners.
What?
So they said they found the bones, but then they just threw them away because nobody wanted to look at them.
So are you serious? Like, if you find a skull that's the size of a basketball,
It's taking a precious.
That would just be Bill's head.
Yeah, see, I did that. The second joke was coming about my huge head. I don't know. We're going to talk more about this.
I would love to talk about ancient giants.
Ancient
I think
giants.
it's fun. I'm adding it to the list right now.
Giants are in the Bible, so if you believe everything that's in the Bible, they lived.
Yep. And Game of Thrones,
Oh, yeah. They were.
right?
I believe in cable television because it's real and tangible.
No.
I pay for that shit. You know?
All right, well, so
not
with
tangible.
that, let's, Ryan, what's going on with your business?
Alter Egos, we have an art show coming up on Friday the 13th.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. It's called The Alchemy of an Artificer, which is really cool. It's going to be a steampunk brass meets lamp-blown glass. It'll be a really cool show.
Is it a group show?
No, well, yeah, it's two people.
Okay.
So it'll be a really cool show.
Cool.
A lot of very neat art. We are in the new space, so that's been a lot of fun.
Where's the new space at?
1528 South Vista here in Boise. Just 2-3 doors down from the other place.
Tell him Ryan sent you.
Yeah.
And we're in our new office. Hey, we've never told anybody to go to our stuff. You should go to check out our website where we do amazing stuff at senestre.com. S-E-N-E-R. Or wait, let me tell you again. S-E-N-E-S-T-R-E.com. That's S-E-N-E-S-T-R-E.com. Senestre.com,
M-I-C.
where creativity is spoken here. And but we are in our new office. We're very excited. We got our old 1950s bar that we restained, and it's really cool.
Honestly, I'm envious of your bar. It's really nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Conference table still to come, but we have a Christmas tree. We're excited. All right. Well, with that, anyone else want to say anything?
No.
All right. You want to lead us out with some prayer, Tom?
Yes. No.
All right. Then everybody say good night.
Good night.